Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Dave. That's Scott. Just want to say hello and thank you for spending some time with us today. Before we get into the review, go ahead and hit the like, the share, leave us a review, say hi. That's really all I can think of as far as business-wise goes, because we don't have any sponsors. We'll probably never have a sponsor, but we are working on a special sponsor. More words for that to come eventually. And today's review is Burt Reynolds as Gator in White Lightning.
1973.
Yeah, dude, take it away. I introduced, so you get him first talk.
All right. So I wasn't sure what I was going to be in for. Sometimes to me, 70s movies, I have a love for them because they're so raw. They're figuring out things. They're getting these car chases down. They're figuring out the logistics of green screen inside cars and stuff. And this movie does some really cool tricks to make you feel the speed. Car chases and everything have come a long way from since then. Fast and Furious just takes it to the insane level of let's defy physics. That's okay. This is a fun movie. This feels so 70s, and it's really interesting. I was in shock at the beginning of this movie.
I forgot about how it started. I forgot how this movie started.
So, folks, if you're not familiar with this and you don't want to be spoiled, turn off right now and come back later. We will spoil the hell out of this movie, as we do almost 99.9% of all movies that we talk about. Very few have we not spoiled.
I think we left Prey alone. That's the only one that I can think of. There
was a couple, but Prey.
Yeah.
Prey, yeah. I think the Munsters, we tiptoed around some things.
Yeah, we tried to, yeah.
Yeah. But with this particular one, this is a pretty familiar setup with 70s and 80s movies. There's always a catalyst that gets the main character to do something. And it's almost like a revenge or a vengeance movie. There were so many of these at this time frame, and they're just fun movies. And Burt Reynolds plays a moonshiner who's in jail, and he's making shine still for the jail. And
that's what's funny.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. And well, let me back up. Well, we talk about the beginning of this movie. What surprised me, you see this canoe going through the swamps. And it's just going along nice and steady. And the camera pans and you see two young boys in a canoe behind, and they're tied up. I didn't realize they were also tied to the canoe.
Yeah.
So the sheriff takes them out in the middle of nowhere, shoots a hole in the canoe, and they sink to the bottom and drown. Mm-hmm. Fucking horrible, man. Horrible. One of those kids was Gator's brother. Now, Gator is played by Burt Reynolds without a mustache. Now, Burt Reynolds without a mustache. What's that?
I knew you were going to mention this.
I have to. Burt and his mustache should never, ever be separated. It's weird. It's just weird. It ain't right. So that's all I've got to say about that. I love Burt. Burt's great in this. This has got a lot of action. It's funny.
It's not as funny as I remember it. Like as a kid, for whatever reason, I thought it was a lot more funny. This has got good light moments in it, like when him and the guy get in a fight out in the alley. But we'll come to that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. So that being said, Gator figures out a way to get out of jail by basically turning state's evidence or trying to frame the local sheriff, played by Ned Beatty. Now, Ned Beatty's got a bad track record in Burt Reynolds films. I'm just saying.
Right.
So, Ned is quite the asshole in this movie. Oh my God, he plays it so well.
Typical 70s Hollywood version of a Southern sheriff.
Yeah. Now,
perfect in it. He's freaking perfect in it.
He's perfect. What threw me off in this movie, I had to look and see where it was supposed to be. It was Arkansas. And it was filmed in Arkansas. Now, I'm not familiar with Arkansas accents, but I could have sworn they were speaking like they were from Mississippi. It just sounded a little off to me.
That's where I thought they were from, because I
you thought that too.
I thought the movie took place in like Mississippi, panhandle of Florida,
It's what it
maybe
looked like.
Alabama. And Kat looked at me and she goes, no. And I don't know how the hell she knew this right off the bat. She goes, no, I think they're in Arkansas. I was
Yeah,
like,
she's right.
where the hell did you get Arkansas? Like, I saw nothing that my
I
wife
honestly, I thought it was
shit
here in
that I
Florida.
never-
It's like, holy
yeah,
crap, this looks like right out my door.
yeah. The old lady picks up on shit that I never pick up on. I still don't know what the hell she saw that she knew. And then like 10 minutes later, they're in the sheriff's office.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you
there's
see
the
the cat,
sign, there's
yeah,
the sign or whatever up on the wall that says Arkansas Razorbacks. And I was like,
yes,
fuck yeah,
yes.
that's crazy.
That's about the time I was trying to figure out where are they? Where's this at?
Yeah,
This feels like
yeah,
Mississippi or Florida. It really
yeah,
felt like this area where we live, and it's like,
yeah. That's where I thought
wow,
they were. And, but Ned Beatty, Jesus, what an underrated actor.
absolutely, he was so
I
good
know a
in
lot of
this.
people remember him from the Superman movies, but man, he did so much more.
Yeah,
He
he
did
is so good
so
in
much
this.
more. He's such a good actor. He can play a really nice, sweet guy,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can play this guy, the
This
sheriff.
guy.
Holy cow. What an evil bastard.
Yeah.
And he's just going around like it's no big deal.
Here's the thing. Ned Beatty as Ned Beatty is not an intimidating person. Ned
No.
Beatty stepping into this role is, you believe it, I would be terrified of this sheriff. I would be
He
afraid. I
became
understand why
terrifying.
everybody
Yeah.
was, because he brought such menace to
Yeah.
this character's, and it was so subtle, dude. There was, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the acting in this movie is top notch. I mean, it's
Well, I
good.
think part of it is the fact that in the very beginning, and to agree with you that the acting is top notch, but in the very beginning when he shoots the hole in the boat, you know, you're like, this is just an evil freaking guy. When he initially meets Gator, real quick, Gator finds out his brother
Yeah.
is murdered. He already knows who did it, or he finds her sister. I think that's his sister that goes to the
Yeah, or his cousin or something comes.
I took it that it was his sister. I could be wrong, but
I think they
just
said
assumed
something.
it was
I don't
his sister
remember.
that went in there. But she tells him that his brother's dead, and he says he basically knows who did it.
Yeah,
You know, already, like, because he finds out what county it was in. He's like, "Oh, that son of a bitch killed my brother," and he's having a moment like he doesn't know what to do. He's in prison. He can't do anything about it. So this guard comes in and starts just giving him shit. I don't know if the guard knows what happened. I don't know if the guard even cares what happened, but he beats the hell out of that guard. I mean, he knocks that guard out in about 5 punches. And he just starts walking.
I know, it's crazy.
What do they call him? Not an inmate, but when you're like in charge of stuff.
I don't know.
When you're an inmate, but you have special privileges.
I don't know.
Whatever that is. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name.
Back when I was doing time, I don't know.
Yeah, back when I was in prison. But he just has like kind of a run of certain areas. So he gets outside and he just makes a break for it. He runs. He's got the dogs chasing him, and he's.
It was like, you know, he's not going to get away.
Yeah, you know he's not going to get away. But then there's a part of you in the back of the head, like, is he going to make it? How the hell?
I know. It's like, no, there's no way. It was not that easy to get out of jail. Nope.
That warden just rides up in front of him on a horse with a shotgun. He's like, Gator, what the hell you doing? You know, this is. He just basically tells him this is the dumbest move you could have made. You only had like a year left.
I know, right?
So he's in prison. Initially, he has all the easy jobs. He's just working on car engines. He's fucking around making whiskey for the warden and the cops and the bulls, as it was. He now he's in the ditch. Now he's digging ditches. Now he's got his shirt off. He's all dying and sweaty. And the warden's looking at him. He's like, "Man, you got to let this go. You only had like a year left. And the warden's actually talking to him like almost like a pal. Like, basically, the warden doesn't think he should even be in prison, is the way I took it. Like, all you were doing is running moonshine and hiding revenue from the fucking revenuers. That's not a crime in my eyes.
Yeah.
But you're here.
Well, he's there profiting from Gator as well.
Yeah.
So, they're friends.
So he doesn't, but then Gator starts talking to him, and all the guys are all bunched up in the ditch. And Gator's like, well, what if the feds put me in here? Well, can the feds get me out? And the sheriff already knows what he's asking. So he looks down at the sheriffs. So he's like, "Hey, take these boys down. Take them further down, about 50 yards down, because he doesn't want anybody to overhear this next bit of the conversation." He's like, "What are you saying, Gator?" He says, "Well, What if I can find out, who did this? And what if I can nail this sheriff? And the guy goes, man, he does. There's nothing signed. There's no paperwork. How are you going to do it? And the guy's almost trying to talk him out of it. Like, you're a moonshiner. You don't turn on your own people just to get out of prison.
This is a big deal in the movie.
And I think initially he misread it. I think he thought he wanted to just get out of prison and get a little bit of his own back. But then I think he realized, oh, this has got nothing to do about just getting out of prison.
No.
He wants vengeance on this guy. So the warden gets the feds in. The feds start talking to him, and he starts telling them how he can do it. And they're like, I don't think you're going to be able to do it, but we'll give you a shot. We'll give you a shot. And then from that point on, it's Gator trying to get enough information on the sheriff that's killed his brother to get him arrested. That's initially what's going on.
Yeah, so that is the setup. What's interesting is Gator's brother was a good kid. He was a college student. He was one of them damn hippies, as they like to point out in this movie. This is from the 70s. Kid was involved in protesting. And one of the things that really cracked me up was when you see somebody drive by in a vehicle that says legalized marijuana on it. And they're like, the first thing they say is, oh, that'll cut into our, we can't have that. And it's like, that's all it comes down to. It's like, even to this day, that is still the damn issue. So it's interesting that them damn hippies. His brother was protesting, and that's why he was killed. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like, it had nothing to do with anything. Like,
no, he wasn't even doing anything illegal.
The thing is, that sheriff could have just kicked his ass, thrown him out of town, and that kid probably wouldn't have come back.
No.
He could have just given him a warning.
It seemed a bit extreme, didn't it?
Yeah, so like this guy, he didn't want anybody fucking around in his town unless he said it was okay.
He overplayed it, man.
Yeah, boy did he. Boy, did he.
Yeah, he got too big. Here's the thing about the sheriff. I feel he got way too big for his head or whatever. I mean, he wasn't as big as he thought he was. This also reminds me of the warden in Longest Yard.
Yeah.
So,
I have one piece of trivia that I want to go over.
Yes, let's hear it.
Read off to me last night by the old lady. This was originally slated to be a Steven Spielberg first theatrical feature.
Really?
And he spent over 2 months in pre-production on it. Then he decided to go over to do Sugarland Express, which I have seen, but I like this movie better. I'll have to admit, I do like. But because Kent and I were saying how tight this felt. Like this is a really tight film.
It is.
I know Spielberg was always really good. Like from right out the door, he was really good. So I think maybe that's what kept it tight. Like whoever came in behind him
just kept going with what he laid.
All I got to do is shape it. Shape it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really interesting.
Damn. Yeah. Wow.
Right?
I think it would have been a different movie.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been this one. And I think Gator probably would have died in the end of this one had Spielberg at the time been in charge of it.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't. So I mean, Gator never does get the info on the sheriff.
No, he was getting it.
Well, he got it, but he ended up killing him.
Well, you remember what he did with the book. Now the whole time Gator is being taken around by hold on, let me back up because I want to get some of the actors in here real quick.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up. Yeah, so one of the things Gator runs into, and we talked about just a few minutes ago, was that, the warden thought he was going to rat on people. And I mean, this is kind of a big deal. All of these people rely on secrecy and trust of one another because you can't just be naming names. And it's like you're lower than dirt if you rat on somebody because you're going to take down everybody, their families, all of it. And it's just, it's horrible. But he put himself in a position now where he basically has to be the rat and try and get fellow moonshiners to help him, knowing, especially the guy that was kind of told by poor dude.
Felt bad.
Dude didn't deserve that, man.
No, not at all.
Now the other guy, I do. But while you're looking up the names, Roy looks so much like Jerry Reed. I just had to keep doing.
That's who I thought it was at first.
Dude, I had to look it up, and it's like
Bo Hopkins.
Bo Hopkins. as Roy, and I swear to God, he looks like a snowman.
Jerry Reed is in Gator. Now, see, this is White Lightning, and I know we keep talking about
Is
Burt
this
Reynolds
before
as
Gator?
because that's the character's name. But Gator is another movie, and Jerry Reed is in that one.
Is this before Gator?
Yeah, this is before Gator.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, same character. Burt Reynolds plays Bobby Gator McCluskey. Jennifer Billingsley was Lou, the little Southern girl that was just kind of trampy and kind of flighty. But she
had some shaky pudding.
Yeah, the shaky. You want to taste some shaky pudding? Just oh my God, that was so funny. But the funny thing is, the two characters, those two actually had some really good chemistry.
They did.
And when you see that she's just the Southern girl, ditzy Southern girl, it's basically what Gator's looking for. She is basically the wife Gator's looking for.
Yeah.
But so that was pretty funny. What I wonder is she the mother of Billingsley from A Christmas Story? Age would be about right, I think. Age might be about right.
Interesting. We need to look that up. Wouldn't that be something?
Ned Beatty is Sheriff J.C. Connors.
Oh, man. Ned is phenomenal in this movie, folks. If you want to see something,
Oh, jeez. Incredible. Just freaking incredible. Bo Hopkins is Roy Boone.
And also known as Jerry Reed's double. Holy crap. Dude, if you don't watch this movie and think that's Jerry Reed, I don't know, man, because I was like, had to do a double take.
That's what I'm looking at him. I'm like, that's Jerry Reed. But I said, there's what? And Kat looks over again, my old lady.
No. She's probably like, that's Bo Hopkins.
She's like, that's Bo Hopkins. I was like, who? And then I looked him up. I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this guy in a million things.
Right.
But he looks just like Jerry Reed.
He does, man.
Matt Clark played Dude Watson.
Poor dude.
Louise Latham was, I think that was the secretary that Burt Reynolds is trying to, basically he's just trying to have sex with her. I'm not even sure if he was trying to get any records from her or not, or if he just wanted to have sex after getting out of prison.
He did. I do think she misread it. Yeah. She thought he was just coming on to her so he could, she could wipe out his records or whatever. Yeah. I think he wanted to find a way in to get into the sheriff's office at night or whatever. But it was crazy because it's like, oh, what? Really? Oh, wow. The secretary, she looks all prim and proper. Oh, hell no.
She's ready to tear it up. Diane Ladd was Maggie. That's funny. R.G. Armstrong was Big Bear. That was the guy who pulled the knife on Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
And had it through his throat. Then there's like the deputies, Conlon Carter. Dabbs Greer was Burt Reynolds' dad, was the character who played Burt Reynolds' dad. And I liked the scene where Burt is sitting on the front porch with his parents. And he's asking him,
that's good.
I think his brother's name was Jimmy. How did he die?
Was it Donnie or Bob?
Was it Donnie?
I don't know
how the brother died.
Yeah.
And the mom starts crying, and the father's like, "You got to be quiet. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it." And then Burt Reynolds tells his dad what he's going to do.
Oh,
and his dad even gets mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't rat these. Yeah,
I mean that's their like number one rule, and he's about to break the moonshiner's code.
But the thing is, and I think the dad's point of view was, it's fine if you go after the sheriff, but you're going to get yourself killed. But it was also, I think it was all the innocent people, I've used finger quotes, that were going to be involved in him bringing down this sheriff.
Yeah.
Because he would have had to have taken down every moonshiner in that county. And anybody who bought moonshine, and anybody who bought moonshine from those people, you know what I mean?
And they showed the operation to an extent. Yeah, that they were supplying bars and everything. That's, believe it or not, that shit still goes on today, which is crazy to me when you can just go to the store and buy some. But anyway, it still does.
Why pay for it if you don't have to?
Exactly. Or pay as much. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Mom McCluskey was Iris Korn, and there's a lot of other like minor names and stuff in here, but the acting in this movie is absolutely top notch. And that scene on that porch, like you can see the devastation of the parents.
Oh yeah.
And then when he says he's going after the sheriff, that the mom is just
I'll drink to that.
starting to have a meltdown. Yeah, there you go. It's funny.
It's some white lightning for white lightning.
White lightning for
Oh,
white.
yeah. Better put that up or the podcast will be over.
Yeah, right. You stop it.
Okay.
The 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 characterization of Bo Hopkins' character, Roy, of just being a good old boy redneck was spot on. Like you believe that guy. You believe
yeah.
that he had that weird relationship with the girl, Lou.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of open, but not really.
Yeah. And
it was
I
strange.
like whatever. This is when you realize Burt Reynolds' character actually likes Lou more than you really think he does.
Yeah.
Is whenever they're in the store and they're delivering, no, they're picking up sugar, they're picking up the whatever they need to make the white lightning with. And he's trying to get Burt Reynolds to admit to fucking her. And Burt Reynolds finally turns around and says, "Man, if you got something to say, just say it." And the guy starts talking to him. He says, "Well, I got a question for you." Burt Reynolds turns on Bo and says, "What are your intentions with her?" And as he's saying this, there's a woman walking by with
it's great.
And he said, "What? What do you mean?" He says, "What are your intentions with Lou? Are you going to marry her?" And Bo Hopkins is like, "Whoa, wait, what? What do you mean marry? I just, what?" And the lady's just looking at Bo Hopkins. And this is just a walk-on character, folks. She doesn't even have a line.
No, it's perfect.
Her look was perfect at Bo Hopkins, especially for the 70s, having sex out of marriage down in Arkansas. It happened, of course, but, publicly you frowned upon it. And this woman is looking at him like he's the biggest piece of trash. You can be a moonshiner all you want, you can break as many laws, but how dare you have sex out of wedlock kind of thing. And the look that lady gave him last 3 seconds, maybe?
Yeah.
But it was one of the biggest laughs I had in this movie. I just died.
There's a lot of stuff there. Yeah. So Burt Gator.
Gator.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of action in this movie. One of the things I wanted to talk about that I noticed was just some of the things they did with the car chases. There's some really good car chases in here. And guess what? The police in this movie can drive.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Pretty well, too.
They all can. Now, there was one thing I just thought was neat, and it was just a little thing that my brain picked up. They would like to show a sense of speed and they would use Gator shifting. You would see his hand and he'd pull the shifter and they'd rev up the engine without showing the outside, and they'd do a quick camera change and it made you feel the speed. And it's like, that was pretty slick for not having a camera sitting inside there watching everything speed up. It was just some neat little things like that. I mean, just subtle things.
And the dirt roads really made it look sped up too.
It did.
Like with everything flying up behind you as you're I don't know how fast those guys were really going. I imagine
sometimes they're going pretty quick.
Going along pretty good, because if you look at the trees, how whenever you speed up a film, you kind of see the trees moving too fast. I didn't see any of that in this. So they
were not speeding anything up. It looks like they filmed it well. And I was like, that's how you do a car chase without having all these super expensive rigs and everything. And I'm sure it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
But what's cool? Did you see all the people outside in town during that chase? And it reminded me of Gone.
How many of those people knew that was going to happen?
Well, it reminded me of Gone in 60 Seconds, where everybody ran out to get on the road and watch this. It's like, here we go, here it is again, and it's like everybody was out there. You could tell they were all just watching. It's like, it was really cool.
We ain't going to get hurt. No, you don't know.
Dude, they came close to people. They came very close to a couple times to things holy crap.
I think there were a few people that were just walking across the street that weren't in the right spot, but thank God they didn't kill anybody.
I know, right?
What else? Oh, when they're delivering this stuff and they go into that old black man's bar, and the guy looks at Burt Reynolds, he's like, "Man, you look really familiar." And I think Roy introduces him as McCluskey, and he's like,
he knows his dad.
He knew his dad, and they actually have a little bit of a chat.
Yeah.
And the whole time up to this point, Burt Reynolds has been taking notes, times, dates, names, how much money's, been passing from one person to another. And he had started to make a note in the book whenever he goes outside with Roy. And there's like a 50-gallon drum of fire and it's just burning, excess trash and stuff. And he takes the book and he throws it in the can. He decides not to be a rat. But at that point, he just decided to kill that sheriff. That he's fuck his deal with the feds. If he goes to prison, he's okay with that because he's going to kill this damn sheriff no matter what.
Yep. And he really, here's the thing, he really doesn't kill him. He doesn't kill him. He does set it up to the.
It is kind of a Disney evil villain death.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, wow.
I wouldn't have going off the cliff.
I would have never thought that, but yes, it is. There they go. Yeah.
The good guy didn't technically kill him.
He didn't technically kill him, but
he did kind of step out of the way
as he went off the side into the. And you see that final gulp of water, air breached the surface of the lake, and it's like, oh, there's Ned. He's dead.
Well, there's the hat comes up.
The hat, yeah.
That was a really good piece of filmography right there.
Yeah,
that was really nicely done. The car chases. Man, there's a note here. This was the first. I'm going to read this. This was the first of the car stunt movies set in American South that Burt Reynolds made during the 70s, involved in some kind of battle with a sheriff or official. The group of movies includes the Smokey and the Bandit films and the movie sequel Gator. Now that makes me wonder, and I'm going to look into this later on, and I'll probably never tell anybody who's watching this, so you guys can look into it, whether the Smokey and the Bandit guy was the same director of any of these movies, because there's a lot of car chases, and I just wonder if
I'll have to take a look.
That went through all this.
Off the top of my head, I can't recall, but
no, I don't remember.
Yeah, so this in the 70s had a lot of these action films, and this is a good one. This is and we've actually reviewed several of these 70s car movies. And this, I wasn't expecting that. This is one of the better ones for sure. This is definitely better than Eat My Dust and Gone in 60 Seconds, the original. Well, I'm just going to put this out here. I enjoy both those movies, but I enjoy them more now than I did at the time I watched them.
I like them better now.
Yeah.
In retrospect, as I look at them, than we did when we initially did our reviews.
Yes.
Because we were watching a lot of bad movies. But when you look back, I mean, especially like Gone in 60 Seconds, the original one, those car chase scenes were great.
Oh, they're great. And we say that in the review too. It's just
and the ending in that was fantastic.
Yeah.
The switch out. The ending in this, that final scene with the car jumping over, that is such an iconic moment in American film history. If you're a film buff and you're a car chase film buff, you may not recognize any other car chase in this movie until that final scene where you watch that and you're like, oh crap. It's almost as iconic as the James Bond car doing the flip in the air, the spin, and landing on the other side of the bridge over the lake, or over the river.
Yeah, this is a nice trick that Gator does. He drops the car down to the bank of the lake, and it can't be seen from the road. So the sheriff can't tell there's a lake there. He thinks Gator kept going. Gator actually just dropped down the embankment with his car, and the sheriff launches over him. This is, you say that there was a lot of the car things. I would also put in, let's go to Top Gun. Where Maverick pulls the little stunt and drops behind the car, behind the jets. It's the same type of fake out. And it's like, wow, look at that.
You're right.
And
it's a poetic justice.
It is.
There is a full circle almost happening.
There is. And that's one of the things I meant to thank you for saying that, because that's one of the things that I got when I watched that is like, I love when a movie will come right back around to the beginning. And we have a drowning at the beginning. This time the sheriff drowns at the end.
Yeah. And it's circular. It's the guy he killed, his brother winds up killing him.
Yeah.
In the same way, in the same basic way.
Pretty much the same way. Yeah. Yeah. And so I dig it. I dig it, man.
Such a good movie.
It was a lot of fun.
If folks, I don't even know how to explain it. There's such good acting. There's a scene, good. And I want to bring this up because the acting is so good. When he's taken to the the unwed mother's home, and all the pregnant girl
Yeah.
teenagers are standing there. And it's so funny because they're all falling in love with Burt Reynolds, and they're all pregnant, or they have a brand new baby on their hip, and they're just looking at Burt Reynolds, man.
Oh
He's
yeah.
getting showed up by the nun. He's got a big eye patch over his eye, and they don't care because they're in love with Burt Reynolds. It's so funny.
Let me ask you
But
something about that.
here, go ahead.
The girl that knew Bert's brother, or Gator's brother,
Yeah.
I would put money that was his child.
Yeah. I would think that was
They never
Gator's
say
nephew,
it, but it's
or
like,
niece.
oh, look at this.
That's yeah, because she's saying, I didn't really see everything, but we know. Like
Yeah.
they knew, but
Yeah.
she said, like, but what could we do?
Nothing.
None of those
Nothing.
kids were built mentally like Gator was.
No.
It
No, they
takes
were
a special
kids.
kind of guy to go after somebody who did your family such an evil wrong.
Yeah.
You're willing to take that. And I honestly think if more people were more like that, like, you do my family wrong, I'm coming after you, no matter what.
Yeah.
I honestly think you'd see a lot less shit going on in the world, not just this country, but
That's
the world.
right. That's
Because a
right.
whole lot of people would be like, that person's crazy enough to burn my house down with me in it. Maybe
Mhm.
I shouldn't go messing with them. Maybe I should just leave them alone.
Just always remember that when you're out there, folks. Be kind,
There are
because the
crazy
next person may
people.
drown you in a lake.
That's right. Shoot a hole in your canoe.
Yeah.
Called Tip a
Yeah.
Canoe. No, but that acting be back to that girl, and I didn't see her name up on here.
Yeah.
I didn't notice her character name. I don't even know if she had a character name. But she's talking to Burt Reynolds, and she's kind of laying across the hood of the car, but not in a sexy way. She's
No.
just like in a ditzy kid way while she's talking to somebody who's older. She's talking, her expression and Burt Reynolds' reaction is fine. That's a good scene. The director and the editors were smart enough to take Billingsley's, the woman who played Lou,
Mhm.
to get her reaction, listening to the conversation and watching Burt Reynolds. That scene with her almost brought
Yeah.
a tear to my eye because she's reacting to what she's hearing. This is the first time she's heard it. This is the first time she realizes Gator is on a mission to kill this guy now.
Yeah. Now
And
she
why?
knows.
It's
Yeah.
because he killed a family member, and
Mhm.
she knows the sheriff is guilty. She's not happy about it, but she knows the sheriff's got it coming. There's
Yeah.
just so much going on
It's
in her
good.
face.
You can see the
She
conflict.
feels
Yeah.
all the I'm sorry, what?
You can see the conflict.
Yeah, and she feels all the pain for Burt Reynolds, and she's about ready to cry because she's like,
Mhm.
I can't help this guy. There's nothing, like, I can be here for him, and that's what he needs, and that's it. Like, she realizes this is a pain that she hasn't had to deal with ever. Like, she knows maybe the stories, but she doesn't know the pain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just, I don't even know how to put it in words other than that. Just that scene alone, after watching this movie, if you get to that point and you're just like, no, there's no good acting in this movie. I don't know. I just don't know.
And that's just it. Everybody has different taste, and there'll be people out there who just cannot stand this movie, but I really dig
Right.
it. I really dig it, and I highly recommend this movie to anybody who just wants to see a good movie
Yeah.
and be
It's
entertained.
not deep.
No, it's not. It's mindless. It's fun. Pop some popcorn. This is
Mhm.
what the '70s were about.
Yeah.
Let's
And
get entertained.
there's no nudity because for a while there, every movie that you and I watched when we first started
From the
this podcast
'70s.
seemed like there was, look, especially the 80s, 70s and 80s. There was
Yep.
just a time when you could almost set your clock to when the breasts were going to pop out.
Yep.
This one doesn't have any of that. There's
No, it's
kind of a scene with
surprisingly
water,
tame.
but you don't see anything. It's racy, but it's not.
This is a violent movie, but it's not. This is a pretty tame movie, especially by
Yeah.
today's standards.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
this is definitely PG all the way by today's standards.
Yeah. If they made this movie now, there'd be 15 karate fight scenes. Gator would be jumping through windows. This was more real. This was like he gets hit and he feels it.
Yeah, and
He
that's
gets
what
knocked.
that's
He's
what
got
I
a big.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I love a kung fu movie. but not every person has got to be a martial artist. So I could see this is a vehicle this is a Steven Seagal vehicle. I mean, this is one of those this is a Chuck Norris movie. This is a Seagal. These are the same type of movies these dudes did, but they were all martial artists. So it was nice to just see something more common, I should say.
Yeah, no, I get it. I see what you mean.
I don't know. But not everything has to turn into a kung fu hustle.
No, not everything. But this is a good movie, folks. The car chases, the acting,
very good.
The reason it all starts. Some characterizations kind of surprise you because you think you're so used to seeing movies nowadays where they're so formulaic.
Yeah.
Nobody takes a chance. There's a few scenes where I was like, well, this is what's going to happen. And it doesn't. I'm like, oh, that's refreshing. That was, he didn't jump 13 cars with his, moped.
It is much more grounded. It's not a lot of scenes, meaning not a lot of locations, not a lot of special effects. It's just all it's very raw. It's got action. It's shot well. It's really neat how they've done things. It's acted well. I highly recommend it, folks. So that is my take on it. So
that's my take. I'm going to leave it at that. Go watch it if you can. If you find it, I'll probably wind up buying it on DVD. This is a movie I'd only seen like maybe once or twice before, and so long ago I forgot it. Like I forgot how the movie was, what it was even about. One or two scenes popped out, and that was at like the last jump. And I think the scene in the pond was like the only two things that stick out in me.
Yeah, so very good. Be sure and join us next week when we cross over with our other podcast. We'll have a surprise for you. So we're going to enter the realm of UFOs and a movie and a discussion. So be a little different, folks. So please come join us. And till next week, thanks again. We'll see you.
Cheers.